Married at First Sight, the journey so far, Denver. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even watch this episode. I only fast forwarded to the sneak peeks. And honestly, I believe episodes like these are for people who don't watch people like myself on YouTube or don't follow any Married at First Sight blogs. It's more for people who haven't heard like other people's takes on the show or whatever. So, hi, I'm Tamara, and this is Tamara Lynette Tells. So this episode was hosted by Kevin Fraser as usual, and the panel included Gary Gerard Hamilton of the Associated Press, Nicole Haynes from Essence Magazine, Angelique Jackson from Variety Magazine, and Sarah Fraser, comedian and host of the Sarah Fraser Show. Like I said, I only watched the sneak peeks, but I know if I didn't watch it, then most of you probably didn't watch it either, so I would at least fill you in on what's coming up later in this season. So there were 4 sneak peeks, plus at the end of the episode, there were still to come on Married at First Sight scenes. So I'll share those with you too. Sneak peek number 1, Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal met with Michael and asked if they found him someone who is worthy, would he be willing to do it again? Now, they didn't show his response, but if you watch my spoiler from earlier this season, then you knew this question was coming and you know what he said. But this isn't a spoiler video, so I'm not going to repeat it here. Now, as for his potential new bride, I bet they just went down the list of other women who were possible matches for him or anybody else on this show and asked them if they were still interested in being on the show. But I wonder why they didn't suggest doing this earlier. So if he does say yes, he can suffer through the entire season like the rest of the couples have to. But if he does say yes, what are they planning to do about his timeline? They are already 3 or more weeks into the season. And do we really want to sit through another wedding and reception at this point? I know I don't. Now, in the first few seasons of Married at First Sight, the marriages were only 5 weeks. I guess if Michael says yes to getting married, they'll kick it old school and give them 5 weeks instead of 8. Now, Michael's probably a super nice guy, but he seems like he would be a difficult person to match. And if he does say yes to getting married, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be a no on decision day. Sneak peek number 2, Orion and Lauren. So it looks like they're sitting at a dinner table for a group dinner, and Orion asked Lauren how she's been. So she said, I've been up and down and realized that we are both playing defense, which has taught me to not place fault on either of us. I feel like we will both grow from this. If we can't come out of this with a successful marriage, at least we can come out of it. And then Orion interrupted and said, a successful person? And she's like, yeah. So Orion asked for a hug and she said, of course. So they hugged it out and he said, I'm glad you're doing okay. Now, I think Lauren is giving this guy too much grace. Enough already. Orion went too far with his inability to forgive, and that will always be his fault in the failure of this marriage. Don't let him off the hook, girl. Sneak peek number 3, Becca and Austin. Now, they were given a homework assignment of a blindfolded obstacle course where every time an obstacle is cleared, they have to reveal something intimate about themselves. Whoever comes up with these challenges is trying too hard. Just let them play red light, green light, Twister, Duck, Duck, Goose or something. So anyway, they turned some chairs upside down and moved some furniture around to create a ghetto obstacle course in their apartment. And they had to direct each other through the course. While one of them was blindfolded, the other one gave directions on what to do to get through this so-called obstacle course, also known as a chair. Now, after Becca made it through her first little obstacle course, they showed Austin share his intimate detail about himself. I really like it when you talk dirty. She said, okay. And she gave a little fist pump in the air. Okay, so it sounds like he enjoys it when she comes on to him. But what man doesn't want his wife to come on to him, though? Can we get a little bit deeper than that, please, Austin? Anyway, after she cleared the next one, he said, you have great tits. I don't think Austin understood the assignment. Sharing intimate details versus catcalling his wife like a horny prison inmate when he sees a female officer, that's not hot. Something tells me that this little assignment is not going to help their situation at all. Sneak peek number 4, Emily and Brennan. So apparently they're sticking to the formula of having the couples write a letter to their younger selves. They're sitting at the kitchen table and Brennan reads his. He said, Dear Brennan, you're probably feeling a lot of pressure right now. You're a teenager going to school and always thinking about the future. Even at your age, that was always at the forefront of our minds because we like to always have a plan and know exactly where we're heading. You've always been a risk taker. Don't worry about letting anyone down, and it's okay to make mistakes. Don't be in a rush to grow up because if you blink, it's all over and your childhood is done. Be proud of who you are and everything will be okay. And Emily said, I love that. I'm really getting the full picture here. Are you really, though? Is anything he says on camera genuine? I feel like Mr. Personality joined Married at First Sight just to be on TV, but doesn't know that he has zero stage presence. Kind of like people who audition for American Idol who can't sing. Like he thinks he's killing this performance on Married at First Sight, but he's really falling flat. The only time it feels like he's being himself is when he's mad or being controlling. Everything else feels like bad acting to me. Now, normally they have them read these letters in front of a place that was significant to their childhood, but he's from New York, so I guess they had to settle for a letter in the kitchen. Now, before I hop into the next clips, please hit the like button. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to my channel if you plan on coming back, that is. I'm trying to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So join the revolution. Thank you. So at the end of this episode, they showed a stream of clips that was still to come for this season. So Clarepist and Cameron are still trying, I guess. They go ice skating on skis. Looks like he's okay with being her quirky sidekick because she does not look at him like a husband. Now, Becca is super happy when she's talking to Pastor Cal on a video call. She says, Austin accidentally told me he loved me last night. How do you say I love you on accident? I can just imagine it. Becca probably said something cute and whimsical, and Austin responds by saying, I love when you say stuff like that. And Becca says, oh my God, did you just say I love you? So in the next clip, Orion told Lauren that he would like to build a bridge back to her because he's missing their connection. Lauren, this man is so on and off his self-righteous fence when it comes to you. If you give him the 19th chance to hurt your feelings, that's on you, girl. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool you 32 times, you're thirsty. So in the next clip, Dr. Pepper asked Michael if he's willing to get married at first sight again. Now his friend spoke up and said, Michael, you said this was one of your biggest failures of your life. I just never want him to feel that way again. Listen, friend, your boy did not get his full 15 minutes of fame. Do not deprive him of his new Instagram followers, please. Now, Mr. Personality said, one of my deal breakers was a positive person. To which Emily replies with a straight face, I'm the most positive effing person there is. Whether or not Emily is ready for marriage or not is debatable, but I have to admit, she's fun to watch. That's my girl. I'm not even mad at her at this point. Let Mr. Personality have it. Give him hell, girl. Then they cut to Cameron, who says, this is not what I was expecting. And Clarepist says, I can't meet him where he's at. Cut to her crying. Girl, stop crying. You're not trying to meet him anywhere but divorce court. Now, Lauren is sitting out in a field or park somewhere because you know this show loves them a good park. Anyway, she says, my emotions towards you are open to being open. And Orion's like, yeah, and nodding and super happy. Lauren, stop allowing this man to keep kicking you out of this singing group. Then pull you back in, then kick you out. You are no longer bonnet buddies. Bonnet buddies. Then they showed the Emily crash that they've been teasing since the weddings, where it looks like Emily got seriously hurt. And Mr. Personality is showing fake concern. And then finally, Becca is bawling her eyes out when she says, I can't keep taking his rejection every night. I can't do it. It was only a matter of time before she broke. He's stringing her along, but he's not giving her enough to work with. She's super into him, but needs to pump the brakes and protect her feelings because he's about to twerk all over them. One thing I noticed when they showed the couples during the decision day, Emily and Brennan weren't included. Now, I don't know if her injury caused her to have to tap out, or if they break up prior to decision day, or if they just didn't include their clips, which means I'm reading too much into it. Me? Read too much into a situation? Never. So these were my takeaways from this episode. I'm not sorry that I didn't sit through this entire show to hear what this panel had to say, but I'm curious, did you watch this episode? If you did, were there any epiphanies you had after watching it? Like, enlighten me in the comments, please. In the meantime, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video.